Hello there and welcome back to my channel.
So I taped off the granite areas inside and on the other side just because I don't want any slops. Actually, I think I might just go ahead and paint the white on the edges as well. Why not? Yes, any slop that goes over the tape, I will be cleaning up right away. Because I done slopped on that one. Whee! Look what I did. A demonstration of what not to bleed and do. You're welcome. But the beauty of life, for the most part, is you get to try again. Okay, so what I do to distress is I just basically just sand, and then I have an alcohol marker in almost the right color, and I just come in and just darken it just a little bit. It's a little tricky and sometimes I get over on the paint, but it's easy enough to sand off. Oy, my body. This is awkward. Because it's essentially just on the surface, I'm just using 220 grit. I'm not doing anything harder than that. Harder? Grittier than that. I decided to give that a try. Let me put this up against the door. I don't know if it'll show it in this light, but it shows actually gray. So I decided to take my rose gold wax and put it on rather rough and ready, so it looks like it's been on there for a while and some of it's worn off. And I think that looks okay. I'm prepared to give this a spray, so I'm off to the balcony. I'm going to be using gloss clear Rust-Oleum. I don't want it to be in direct sunlight, so. These coffee cans really come in handy to elevate anything you're painting and allowing you to paint sides of things without anything sticking. So that's how I used to paint. I would just drag the paintbrush and then take it right off the plastic, but you're left with drips and overhangs, so elevate anything that you're going to be painting. Because right now the plan is to get my wheels put on. There's a bit of a whammy in this too. I added this support for this center wheel. I don't like it being off-centered. My ADD is really killing me here, and every time I go by it, I'm gonna know this wheel is off-center. This wheel is off-center. But there's not a dang thing I can do about it. It's just the way it goes. Okay, here's my situation. It's not good. I do not have 4 screws that will fit, and I am certainly not going to go out and purchase screws just for this project. I mean, eventually I am going to have to, but for now, we're going to make it do with 3. It's just the center support. 3, I think, is going to be solid enough until I eventually do get in more screws of tiny size. And then we'll worry about it then. Right, well, it's on. I don't know if I can completely trust it. I should have gone for ones that were just a wee bit longer that would bite into this too. But like I said, that's a worry for a future time. As of right now, it's on, it's done, and I'm going to start assembling this baby very, very shortly. Okay, so update. That's a big fat no for the center wheel because it was still too tall. So when I put it on the floor and gave it a wiggle test, all I heard was and this thing was lying on the floor. So I'm going to be returning it and getting a 2.5 inch wheel and then just shim upwards until I get to the right height. All right, bit of an update. I decided to push this down on the dowels to see if I needed to do any sanding to get them in, and it looks like I don't have to, at least on this one. All right, so we have all of the drawers ready to be assembled. What is that? Oh, piece of fluff. And there we are, assembled minus the knobs. I'll be putting the tracks on now. Ready? Grab the middle piece, we'll do that. The 3 supports for the drawers. I will be attaching the other side to the middle piece, and the one shelf here that's actually a permanent shelf. The other one's adjustable, but the top one's permanent. So I'm going to get that done, and then that's probably it until about Monday when my 2 back pieces will be ready to be polyacrylic. Is that a verb? Well, it is now. The last 2 pieces of the puzzle before I can start working on the new top is these back pieces, and they have been coated. Now I'm just trying to decide which way I want them to go. I think I want them going this way. Don't you make me force you in there. Let's try this piece and see what happens. This one goes all the way to the bottom. I want to push on it. Oop. All right. As it stands, there's the 2 back pieces. Good morning. We are on our side with the kind of thrown together solution here. Just kind of glued together some scrap bits, and I purchased a wheel to go there from the Home Depot. With this calculation of mine, it should all fit nicely. So I've just glued it. When that's dry, I will drill my pilot holes and attach it. Then we can move on to cutting out the top. I have put my tape as far as I'm going to drill to not go through the floor of it. Okay, nothing's gone through the floor, so thumbs high for that one. Just going to get the driver bit and I'll show you that when it's done. Right, so we're upright and it does seem like we're pivoting on the center wheel. All the other wheels are touching the floor, but because there is a bit of a bow, putting the top on, that weighs about 60 odd pounds, is really going to determine whether or not this center wheel is going to work. Fingers crossed that solves the gapping problem here. And there it is, all done. Ta-da! All right, I'm just kidding. But I did want to show this. The gap is much, much less than it was. So I'm happy about that. I don't know if you can see, but at the very back here, there's a bit of a gap. That side too, you can actually see a bit more of the light coming through at the back there. So I'm gonna have to put some weight down on that before I screw the cam locks in, or cam connectors, as some people call them. There's supposed to be 6 of them. So I went and looked at my local Canadian Tire and lo and behold. So if you are missing one, or if you're missing one of the IKEA ones, check your local Canadian Tire. They just might have it. And check that out. All cam locks engaged. My gaps are gone. Everything looks pretty damn good. I am pleased. Except for the dirt that I just put on. Ah, damn it. Just when you think your hands are clean, they're not. I should learn that. I mean, I make books and I have to wash my hands religiously, but no, not this time. My hands are dirty. Eck. So next step is to attach me door with my new hinges. Arrgh. That's annoying. Ah, when life throws a hiccup at you, cry. So my solution is just frickin' force them on there. That was my solution. So we have that one at an angle a bit, and that one at an angle a bit, and you know what? I don't care. They fit. So that's all I care about right now. The door is on. Now the knobs, I'm probably going to change out for just the plain white ones. I'm just trying to live with them for a little bit, see what I think. So these were the holes for the, one had like a towel bar and the other side had a shelf. I decided to leave them as ventilation holes instead of covering them up. Alright, so I have set up my birch ply with the fence. I measured this out with the top face down on this, and then adding in my trim, but I made it a little too tight, I think. I want a little bit of wiggle room, so if the wood happens to swell, that kind of thing. So I've set my fence, I've backed off my line about 1/4 inch, and I'm going to do the same thing when I cut this side. I'm going to add 1/4 inch, giving me 1/8 inch on either ends for wiggle room, wood expansion, that kind of thing. So I have pre-painted these just on 3 sides, so unfortunately that means I have to flip-flop to get the paint to remain on the outside. So I'm just going to line myself up with my other pencil measurement here, And since my line has to go that way from here, I'm just going to direct a line going this way. It just reminds me when I get to the miter box that I have it facing in the right direction, because I can't tell you how many times I've cut in the wrong direction because I didn't do that. Pieces are all cut out, ready to be glued. So I'm going to glue, clamp, and when it's dry, I'm going to go from the top and use a 5/8 brad, and then I'm countersink the brads, cover them up with the wood filler, and sand, and then paint. Those are my steps. Right, so now that we're all glued up, I'm going to go around probably just one or two. And I don't have a nail set, so I just use an old, as you can see, very old driver bit. You can go spend $15 on a nail set from Home Depot if you want. It's a perfectly handy thing to have. However, when you have a whole bunch of these lying around, yeah, don't bother. Make do with what you have until you get the thing you need. Now, the most important thing you do before you do anything else right now, check to see if you went in straight. And yes, I did. Because the last thing you want to find out is you went in crooked when you were all done. So now I just grab my little driver bit. I get the edge of it and I just give a few taps. See how I've rounded this edge? Well, these now have to be filled, and then I'm going to sand them and round them as well to match that. Taken care of with the wood filler, sanded my edges smooth, and now doing a coat on some very thirsty birch ply. It's going to take a few coats. But I've been thinking of doing the faux on this as well, but white on white. So just the texture is what I'm thinking. And I've discovered that this has a bit of a warp to it. I didn't notice it before, but as you'll see, we got a bit of a whammy. Here we are. This thing has had 3 coats, and I am discovering that I really don't like seeing the join. What I should have done was put wood filler there, but I didn't, and now I'm not happy. So I'm going to take the time to apply wood filler all the way around so that we're not going to see that line. So it looks like one smooth continuous piece or one big chunk. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, well, I've gone around with the wood filler, and because I had a bit of a whammy in this plywood, I have wet the top and applied some weights. I'm hoping that that whammy disappears. But I'm just going around now and giving my first coat. Okay, so I'm guessing one more coat of white all the way around, and I will be ready to do my faux again. There was a line of paint here that was up, and I was a little afraid but it's flattened out nicely. And this little raised part, yeah, that's all right. And then give you a view of the side. Well, then I think we can call this project complete. And there she is. All distressed. I think she looks good.
Thanks for watching, I appreciate ya.